Well, I'm kind of excited because I got Riva Mackie here with a brand new business, which I completely misunderstood. Your business is called the Pad, so I was
Yes.
thinking like 1970s bachelor pad going in. I was going to see all kinds of shag carpeting, and I go in and I'm like, there's people playing sports. Oh man.
That was a disappointment?
No, it was
No.
fun. It was absolutely fun. It was, but from shag carpeting to
We have a little bit of a retro vibe going
you
on.
have you do you do. Well, tell us about the Pad first. We'll get into the details of it, but like, what is this thing?
The Pad is an indoor racket sport business here, basically in the heart of downtown Tucson. We have pickleball, padel, and table tennis, along with a cafe and bar and event space.
Yeah, you got like everything you could possibly want to
Well, that's what we think.
in one space. And just to be clear, when we talk about a space, this is a massive space. This is like an old, like they used to build airplanes or something in this warehouse because they have a lot of space.
We do have a lot of space. It actually was not on the plan to take over something that size at the beginning. And we had looked for space across the country appropriate for Padel. Padel is my main sport.
Okay.
And it is difficult to find an indoor space that works well, that has high ceilings and, you can use it for a sports use. We added Tucson as our 13th city that we were looking in and found the space the next day.
Wow. So,
And
so you're not from Tucson then?
I am not a native Tucson
Okay.
person. Yeah, I'm Canadian. I'm from Calgary.
Okay.
And the last 3.5 years, my family lived in a camper in South Florida, actually, as I was being a student of the Padel game.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, like, what were some of the other cities Tucson was competing with?
We looked in a number of different cities in Texas and in Florida and in South Carolina and North Carolina and Wyoming and Utah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and Tucson wins out. I think our
Yeah.
we're going to chalk it up to our Economic Development Authority that's making sure there's space available for all types of businesses to come to Tucson.
That's true. And it had a place, and my husband and I are here on the ground running the business. We met when we were young playing tennis, and we actually came to Tucson to play tennis tournaments
Okay.
at Christmas time every year as a junior. And so it had a little piece of our heart.
Were you at the Randolph course over there on Alvernon and like near the mall?
I don't even remember what, I think it was called Copper Bowl. It was a
Okay.
junior tournament, and
Okay.
they hosted it at a number of locations because it was huge.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing I was surprised to find out that Tucson has become quite the place for tennis and other, well, now other racket sports too.
Yeah.
So in Tucson, I think we're somewhat familiar with a sport called pickleball.
Yes.
And you mentioned before we got on the air that you were somewhat proficient in this other sport called padel or paddle or padel, depending on what part of the world you're in.
That's right.
Which I think is a little bit of an understatement because you're like a champion of this sport, aren't you?
Well, it depends on where you're looking.
Is there a trophy in your case that says champion?
Yeah.
There you go. So you are a champion
couple.
of this sport.
Sure.
Somewhat proficient. Anyway, this sport, I had no idea this sport existed. So
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about paddle? And I'm kind of joking with the name because it's all over the world and people say it differently everywhere.
They do. Yeah. So I actually started playing in Canada, of all places, which is hilarious given the history of padel. We only had outdoor courts, and I was a pretty good racket sport athlete. I played tennis, and my first sport was racquetball. And they were hosting world championships in 2008 in my city. And they said, well, we should ask Riva to play on the team. I hadn't even played before. And so I played and really enjoyed it, but we only had outdoor courts. So you played 3 months of the year. Some years you didn't play. It kind of just didn't have the ability to be a real part of your life.
Right.
And in 2019, Paddle Canada sent me to what I call paddle camp in Monaco, where I got to really learn the sport from one of the top coaches in the world. And we were drawn together with a number of people from other countries that came with, 2-a-day workouts and drills and matches. It was like the time of my life. And after that experience, came back with a mission to grow the sport of Padel here in North America. And I wasn't sure exactly how that was going to call me. And the first few years of it, it was mostly playing. I've been very competitive over the last 4 years. And now I'm starting a club.
Yeah, I think when your family is living in a camper, so you can pursue your sport, you are pretty competitive at that.
Yes. It wasn't the original intention that we would land in South Florida and stay there, but the paddle was so good, and I just couldn't leave.
Well, tell the sport itself, though. So give us the framework, because this is again, it's similar to many sports, but it's different than all of them.
Yes. Okay. It is. I describe it as a combination between tennis and squash.
Okay.
And some of the racquetball players probably would be sad that I use squash as a comparison, but it's basically a small tennis court inside a glass box. And so you play doubles. So you're facing two people on the other side of a net. The ball has to go over the net, bounce on the surface before any of the walls, but then it is live to ricochet off of any of the walls in whatever fashion it does that. So it's a little bit chaotic, and as you get better at the sport, it becomes this beautiful dance of racket sport chaos.
Racket Sport Chaos. That would be a good name for a club too. Racket Sport
It would be
Chaos.
pretty good.
And then the equipment, though, it's because I toured the pad as part of the local first mixer, and they were doing a little demonstration. It looks like the again, it looks similar. The balls look similar to tennis balls, but they said they're different. The paddles are they don't have strings.
They don't have strings, though we still call it a racket. I know. Give
Racket,
that one.
sorry.
Chew on that one a little bit.
Racket.
I get corrected by pickleball players all the time to say, it's not a racket, it's a paddle. But for paddle, it's a racket. It's a shorter tool than a tennis racket. Does not have strings. It is about 1.5 inches thick, approximately. Has holes through foam and fiberglass that make up the inside of it. So it's much heavier than a pickleball paddle, and feels very different than a tennis racket, though the surface is getting a little bit of texture. So you can get spin. Both the holes and the surface allow you to start getting more and more spin for the sport.
Yeah, it's now I think it's appropriate that pickleball has a paddle and paddle has a racket. I mean, that just makes perfect sense. But so I'm at the pad, and I had no idea it existed. I honestly didn't at the time, and that's why I think Local First does these mixers to highlight these things. And I walk in this massive space. There are what I thought were indoor tennis courts everywhere. There are pickleball courts, table tennis. Like, this is everywhere. It's air conditioned. There's a bar, and I'm like, okay, I still haven't gotten my head completely around pickleball, and now this brand new sport is coming out. And it was either you or Larry said, no. A paddle has been around for like 50 plus years, and I'm like, oh, great, because pickleball's been around forever too. And I don't, I don't know, like, there was an explosion in that sport at some point.
Yeah,
but it's existed for 50
a long time.
plus years.
Yeah, I think paddle was founded in Mexico in 63 or 64. I might be getting that wrong, but around that.
So 60 years at this point, yeah.
And it didn't really grow in Mexico first, even though that was its homeland. It really took off in Spain and Argentina, I think, were the two biggest countries for a long time. And now Padel has grown around the world. So not in North America yet, not in Canada and the US. It's still in its infancy here. But everywhere else, it's huge. Yeah. In Spain, for example, there is more recreational participation in Padel than soccer.
Well, that's interesting. I thought. Well, I guess it also probably has to do with the maybe the ability of all ages maybe to participate. It seems like it might be a little bit easier on the body than some of these other sports, but I don't. Maybe they're not at a competitive level like yourself, but I'm thinking, okay, there's two people. It's a fairly small court. I can run around a little bit. Like pickleball, I think there's a lot of attraction because I've seen people with all types of abilities be able to participate, and they might have a knee brace and barely be able to move, but they can still participate at a comfortable level with a partner.
Yeah, the barrier to entry for pickleball is very low in all categories, both physical ability, social skills, financially, you can get on a pickleball court and enjoy yourself. And I think that's what's made it really take off here in Canada and the US. And now it's starting. It's in its infancy around the world, but it's really starting to take off other places as well. Paddle is similar in that it's it's pretty accessible physically, but it is more demanding than pickleball.
Sure.
Anyone can step on a court and start having a game, though, in one session. And I think that's the difference. I think that's what's really hit with a lot of people around the world is that tennis is difficult. You know, if we're comparing them to tennis, you need lessons and time to be able to actually start enjoying yourself on a tennis court. And in both Padel and pickleball, you can step on and be having a very enjoyable experience in 1 hour.
Yeah, and that was something that I saw when I was on your website that I appreciated, was that you offer those free sort of introductory lessons to get people comfortable, because I don't know either sport. I don't fully understand the allure of pickleball, and now I'm a little bit scared of paddle.
Scared?
Well, there's the balls flying around. People are. I mean, racquetball's pretty challenging for me, and this is a bigger surface and a partner, and you got a net in the middle of all this. It's like, what's going on over here? But then I'm like, okay, there's lessons. Maybe I can go take a lesson and just see if there's a fit for me in one of those.
Absolutely. Yeah, we do free intro classes for paddle. I ask that people, if they can, find 3 or 4 people to bring along so we actually can get a game going within that session is really important. But I'm flexible. I'm the paddle pro at the Pad and happy to get those going at any time.
Paddle pro at the Pad. Is that what's on your business card?
I think that's on my business card.
Paddle pro at the Pad.
Yeah.
I lived in a camper to prove it for 3 years.
That's right.
To hone my skills. And then you get this lesser known sport, which all of us probably have played at some point, ping pong or table tennis.
Yeah.
You got a few of those in there.
We do. We have 3 right now.
Are you an expert at table tennis too?
I am really not. I am sadly a little bit embarrassed to say that I'm quite terrible at table tennis, I think. We do this thing called Padketlon, which is a triathlon of racket sports.
Okay.
Specific to the ones we have at the Pad. So we do it in different formats, but sometimes you come with a partner, sometimes you come and you mix with a partner. And you have to play all 3 sports. And it sort of neutralizes this, becomes a very social, very fun event. It neutralizes your inhibition, maybe, so to speak, because you know that of 3, if you're a racket sport person, you're probably terrible at 1. And so it takes out this, it takes out the hardcore expectation or competitiveness and allows you to kind of laugh at yourself in at least one sport.
Or all 3, depending on.
Or all 3, yeah, whatever. However it works out.
Hey, you're probably not good at least one. Yeah, at least one I'm not good at. I know that for a fact. You used the word, or we talked a little bit about this socialization. Is that why these sports have become so, like, what's causing these explosions? Is it, I mean, I know it's exercise and there's a low barrier in some cases to entry, but it seems like this is a cult mentality at some point.
Yeah, I've thought about this a lot, and I don't know that I have the answer. But the fact that you are much closer in proximity, playing with a partner and facing other people makes it a very social experience. I think that has something to do with it.
Oh,
and paddle's very different, but pickleball has been founded on this drop-in kind of foundation where you just show up. And you can show up alone. You can show up with other people. You don't just only show up and play with your group. Well, you can, of course, if that's what you want to do. But there's a lot of opportunity to just show up and get games and meet new people. And I think we live in a world where people need those opportunities.
Yeah. And one thing, and again, I don't know, I don't have anything to compare this to, so I don't know if it's normal or not. But you have the social context of you got the sports, but you also have the social context through like a coffee bar, and you've got, like I think you have Barrio beer on tap, and so it's a chance to extend that in one space. You can meet, have a cup of coffee, play, work up a sweat, grab a beer, and spend the day there, I guess.
You can. There are people that are even starting to work from the club throughout the day, which is kind of nice to see.
Yeah. I was telling Jessica from Local First, I never thought I'd be into pickleball, but they have a bar.
That's right. We
So
just finished one. We run leagues, and right now our leagues for pickleball are on a monthly rotation, and the last night of the month is a playoff tournament, and everyone gets a free beer. And so it's always a really fun time with very spirited competition, but everyone comes together over a beer after the tournament's over.
Well, if people need to find out more, they go to is it the Pad what's your website?
The PadTucson.com.
Okay. And I'm assuming they can sign up. We got all the information, free classes, the schedule, the leagues, all that stuff's on there.
We do.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have buttons that take you to our booking website, which is a little bit different than the Pad Tucson, but it should be working well now.
Gotcha. Yeah, and it just really is an amazing facility. It's down on Toole.
Yes.
So it's in that area with there's all kinds of different warehouse sports in there. I call them like rock and rope and down
Rocks
there.
and ropes is another big one that's a staple in Tucson.
Yeah.
Everyone knows rocks and ropes. I use it as a point of reference all the time.
Okay, so next door.
Right next door.
Pretty
Yeah.
next door to that. And I would really, as you dive more deeply into this over the next few years and get a sense of it, I'd really like to understand like the why now? I mean, because these sports have been around for so long. Like why now? Or is it maybe just I'm more aware of it, but there wasn't a pickleball court in Tucson like 5 years ago that I knew of. I mean, there might be small ones, but now there are multiple options to play.
Yeah, there's quite a few options here in the city to play pickleball. I don't know if I have the answer to that.
Yeah.
Pickleball in the U.S. and Canada, though, on a professional level, I think they go hand in hand, is how big the community is getting at a grassroots level, and then the money available at a professional level that's really taken off for pickleball. For Padel, that's happening around the world now. There's many more opportunities for top-level players, and there's got to be a marriage between those two things.
Is there? You're the only one that I know of that has the Padel those courts. Are there others?
There are, yeah. There are 4 places to play Padel here in Tucson now. There's an outdoor one called Paddle Alley. They have a couple courts at Tucson Racket Club, and there is also Paddle AZ at Maracana.
Okay. But yours is an air-conditioned warehouse, which...
Well, I will say I think we have the nicest courts in town, for sure.
It is a beautiful facility, top to bottom. There's even like a weight room in there, too, or something.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. We have a smallish but functional fitness gym that has everything you need to do what you need to do for your body on the court.
Well, Riva, moderately successful in Padel.
Yeah.
I'm still not going to play her for money in table tennis because I think she's probably got more skills than she's saying. I appreciate you coming on, Sharon, and we'll just kind of keep in touch and see how this sport is changing the fabric of Tucson over time.
We're going to get you on that court. You know that, right? It's going to happen.
There's beer.
And there's beer. We'll share one after.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Thanks.